we're back here at the auditorium, and Frosty, the place is jumping right now. I know when you were with the Estherville people, I was with the East Des Moines people. Kind of hard to tell them apart because their colors of one, East is red and black, and for Estherville is red and white. But we know this, they're all intent on victory tonight.
Okay, Michael Dudding.
Can you spell that for us?
D-U-D-D-I-N-G.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
And the station that you worked for?
KILR.
Both teams getting their final warm-up before this championship basketball game begins. I look for Estherville to pull an upset.
Take us back to 1982. What was it like in Estherville?
1982 was a year that was filled with a lot of crises, if you will. John Morrell was closing the second of two plants, and that affected about 1/3 of the workforce. The result had a number of businesses going out of business. The farm economy was bad, and if you wanted a loan from the bank, interest rates were high. This was an outlet for a lot of people to forget all the bad that was happening, and who had a basketball team that really knew how to play ball.
I get a feeling that the neutral crowd is going to be with Estherville, though, in this one, because they're the smaller school.
Now it'd be like, I would imagine 1A or Class A playing 4A. You don't see that happening at the state tournament. Not surprisingly, Des Moines East was a heavy, heavy favorite to win the state championship.
Most of them in the stadium were rooting for us because, you know, it was a natural thing because the East had beaten everybody pretty hard. 3 years before that, they kind of let us know who was the best in the state, you know, so.
In 1979, when the girls made their first trip to state, they played Des Moines East, and that was a ugly game. Set a record for the biggest difference in points-wise in the state tournament game on 6-on-6.
You know, in 3 years we came back, and the kids we had, they bought into the program. We knew that East Des Moines was a good ball club. They were ranked number 6, I think, in the state at the time. We were 16.
You know, you come in here with a traditional underdog role. Who knows who should be rated the underdog or the favorite? But I think you got to go with the larger school in this case as being rated the favorite. And but don't tell the Estherville people that because they are out.
Yeah, we had a heck of a crowd down there. I don't know for how many busloads of spectators, but it was one of those things where you got a lot of people, so you didn't want to disappoint them.
Vets was packed. And I was looking back at some pictures, and it's like, it was just packed to the brim. I remember Dad always told us, don't get down there and try to figure out how many bales of hay you can put in Vets Auditorium. Trying to make it so that we were thinking ahead that, hey, you don't worry about the size.
I was oddly not nervous like you would expect, but more super focused on, you know, and anxious to play. All the time I felt like I just wanted to get out there and play. I didn't really look at them as a big school and we were a small school. I mean, we're just 6 people out there playing basketball.
We didn't have one person that was the star. We had 3 very consistent forwards, and Julia and I really gelled in the backcourt.
The most unbelievable part about all of this was that it's very rare, I think, that you have 6 people that are all committed and dedicated like we were, all very committed to the same goal. At the same time, you have some very good leadership in the right place, and you have support. We had great support from the school and the community and our families. But Iowa has always had a very strong girls basketball tradition. I mean, even pre-Caitlin Clark era, you know, we had some things going on here. And of course, it was the unique 6-on-6 play, which, you know, was part of it.
The 6-on-6 game was an offensive game. You know, the dribble, you could only dribble twice, but you know, you could get to from the center line to the basket, a couple of dribbles. But it was a lot of fun to watch. It's a quick game, and we were quick, but we weren't very big. We knew that on the other end, we weren't going to stop Opie Laurie.
Yeah, she seemed like she was about 4 inches taller than what I was.
These forwards were so big.
Reduce it all to 1 or 2 questions. Can the leading scorer in the state tournament field, Opie Lowry, beat the top defenders in the tournament field, Debbie Niles, and her crew from Estherville?
Her arms were just, I mean, she was tall and thin, so it made her look even bigger than she was. But I felt like she could reach over the top of me and just take whatever's hers, you know, and I couldn't do anything about it.
Not bad. 2 times, but the rebound shot by Lowry, she makes it.
All 3 of those girls were not the tallest, but you couldn't take the fight out of them. They were tough.
East now has a chance to go up by 3. Lowry slides in there, can't do it, and Lammers with a rebound, and that was a block shot. A block shot. She already has set a state tournament record in block shots and rebounds.
You know, our defense was tough and played zone, which troubled, I think, a lot of people. And then Deb and I and Julie Ruland out front, who was like all over the place. It just really disrupted other forward courts. And then our offense was just run and gun.
Our forwards were so fast. They had this give and go offense. They read each other well. They were really good at finding one another and back doors and all of that stuff that they could just put it in when they needed. They were very clutch.
Diane Noss and Amy Montgomery were very good jump shooters, and Brenda Arment was our 3rd forward, and she scored when we had to. She's a clutch player.
Brenda Arment, she's open. Look, good.
We all thought we could win state. We had the skill set to do that. We had great team members and coaches in support on and off, up and down the line, and it's just a great dynamic.
Over to Diane Noss. She's going to do it all herself, and does.
We didn't have just that one single post player like a lot of teams have that would score all the points. Instead, we had 3 outside shooters, and we had a very well-balanced scoring offense. I think all of us averaged over 20 points a game.
Very, very tight ball game. Tight as skinny jeans the day after Thanksgiving. You know, I mean, the emotions were high.
Well, it started out pretty good. You know, kind of shut her down at first, and then she kind of got her momentum back, and I picked up a couple of fouls. The second one I didn't feel was even a foul. 3rd one maybe. 4th one I was saying, uh-oh.
And she had 4 fouls on her by halftime. Oh, well, I would assume that all the fans in there wondered what we'd do in the coaching west because we didn't take her out.
The long one by Reynolds, no good. And we have a 1-point game at halftime. The place is going wild.
At that time, you thought, we've got a chance. I thought at halftime, if they had a concession stand that sold defibrillators, they'd be sold out by the end of the 3rd quarter.
That Estherville crowd going crazy back there.
I remember thinking, oh my God, we got to get this. We got to get this rebound. We got to get this point.
And Amy comes through from her end. Amy Montgomery.
A lot of it was unspoken. You didn't need to say much, but you could just look at each other, and everyone was on the same page about what we needed to do.
We could just kind of read each other, and just one would pick up the slack if the other person was in trouble.
9 lead changes there in the 3rd quarter. 17 in the game.
4th quarter, you could just feel something happening, and it happened, where Estherville took a 7-point lead with under 3 minutes to go in the game. And at that time, I believe the Veterans Auditorium held like 13,000 people. And starting the 4th quarter, as close as the ball game was, we had 3/4 of the crowd cheering for underdog Estherville.
We played that entire second half without a foul. You know, we just sucked it all in. But from a coaching standpoint, I didn't hear the crowd as much as concentration in our huddle.
We played in a lot of close games our senior year, but we always found a way to win.
East maybe would have been more athletic or more talented than we, maybe, I don't know. But we definitely had the heart, and we played harder, I think.
I don't know, Cinderella story? Somebody was watching over us.
All right, here's Diane Noss now with the big one at the free throw line. She gets 2. First one is good. And Estherville may have locked up the championship with that.
Back then, we didn't have a 3-point shot line. So even being ahead by 3 points, that still put it at a 2-possession game. So basically, all we had to do was allow East to go down, score a basket, make sure we didn't foul, and the championship would be ours.
I told people on the air, if you just tuned in, stay put, because you're going to hear history.
I remember watching the seconds tick down, though, and realizing what was about to happen.
Roxanne Johnson, they give her the shot.
4, 3.
Here we go, 2 seconds. That's the game.
Diane threw it up in the air and the game was over.
Estherville is the champion. Estherville Lincoln, one of the most dramatic finishes in the history of girls basketball.
It was actually before the game was over, and we're standing there, and it's like, boy, you know, if we win, I'm just gonna go give Dad a big hug. And so it's kind of like in my head, I was like, oh, I think this is the right thing to do.
Champions, state champions.
The Estherville Midgets are the state champions. Incredible! The state champion Estherville Midgets. Oh!
Everybody that followed us and went with us and, you know, rode on the school bus behind us, all the cars, and they were part of the championship. You know, they were part of our team. Everybody, it was just, I just felt that they were part of us.
You know, as you get older, you start to appreciate how really special all that was, how everything had to happen at the right time. We were all in the right place, you know, it's one of those things.
When you have that kind of a commitment and dedication and leadership all at the same time, it's pretty unique. It doesn't always happen, you know, whether it's on a sports court or at your work site.
I give all the credit to our kids. It wasn't a big coaching thing. It was those kids on the floor that did all the work.
I really believe after the Estherville Midgets won the state championship, there was kind of a period of numbness, but then that positive experience seemed to turn into something else civically and population-wise, and people just had a better attitude. It couldn't have come at a better time.
If you really put in the work and you believe that you can do something, that belief and hard work really can lead you to good things, whether it's in sports or in your chosen profession or just in life in general, you know. And I think high school sports helped me throughout my whole life, really.
There's something about it gave you, really made you feel special and made you feel like you could do things, you could do something.
I feel very fortunate to be part of that team. It shaped me for the rest of my life.
My husband actually went to East High, but he wasn't there at the time when we were playing, but it's kind of like a fun little thing we have going back and forth. I like to rub it in that we beat East, you know, in the final.